Hey everyone, welcome back to my kitchen. Kat here. So today what we're going to be doing is canning chicken breast. So I'm going to be raw packing it today and then we're going to be pressure canning it. So I already have one load of, we're doing pints today, wide mouth pints, and I think maybe do some quarts as well. I already have one double stack already in my canner. I believe it fits 16 16 wide mouth pints. So right now I'm just working on the rest of our chicken. We have 40 pounds of chicken breast total. I got this fresh from GFS. If you have a GFS near you, you can buy, what I bought was a case of chicken. They come in 10-pound bags, so you get 4 bags in a box with a lined bag and everything. And you can get that for around $85, $90. So price may vary different from different locations and whatnot. But let me show you what we've got going on here. Let me show you how we clean the chicken. I already rinsed each chicken breast, put it in a colander to drain, and then I just have a cutting board underneath it to catch any liquid. And then now we're trimming it, which trimming it means taking off all the fat, and then we're going to be cubing it up for our jars. So let me show you what we have here. Okay. So this is just one size of the chicken breast, and as you can see, the size of my hand, and my hands are pretty big for a woman, but these are really, really large. So the first things first, this little bit here, I like to trim this off. Obviously, I am using gloves for this. You got to be very careful with chicken and cross-contamination. So just be very clean, be very careful with this. Next, we're going to trim off all this fat. Just use your favorite sharp knife that you have. And I'm just dropping it right into my garbage over here on the left. So sometimes you have to pull this back and then just slice along the skin. And it should peel up. I'm not going over the entire skin of the breast. I'm just basically taking off all of the visible fat. You can leave some fat on if you like. That's totally up to you. I like to keep it more on the leaner side if I can. Then we're going to flip it over and see if there's any fat or any membrane or anything in here that we need to take off. There's a little bit of a membrane on this side. The membrane doesn't really cook down very nicely and it just ends up staying tough. So usually I do try to take that out. And then for this little piece, I just kind of pull back all the fat, slide my knife right in here, and then you get this little, almost like a little chicken nugget. And then I just have a bowl back here for all of my cubed up pieces. So next we're just going to be cutting vertical slices. The chicken is room temperature now, but I did take it out. It was colder before. So it's not too hard to cut. Sometimes when it's the slippery skin, it's easier to cut on its side. So the knife has a little bit more friction. And we're just cutting it into, figure 2 by 2 pieces, 2 by 2 inch pieces. Doesn't have to be exact, but roughly around that size. And once you get the hang of this, it goes pretty fast. Alrighty guys, so here we are, we're ready. We have all of our chicken cut finally. This is 20 pounds here. I actually just took 20 more pounds. You can see them right here out of the canner. So we have 40 pounds total. And I'm gonna show you how we can these now. I have a teaspoon a half a teaspoon of salt in each of my wide mouth pint jars. And we're just gonna take some chicken. Once again, I'm working with my gloves, and we're loosely packing it in there. So I'm not really pushing down, but obviously I do want it to be full. So I'm just gonna use the funnel to kind of keep the edges a little cleaner. And then once I get to the top there, I'm just gonna lightly pat it just to kind of fit, and then just take our jar and just kind of pat it down on the towel. Don't want to do that right on the countertop because you don't want to cling your glass. But right about there, and then that's good to go. And then from there, we'll take our little debubbler tool, and I'm just going to go around the sides a little bit. Now I know the debubbler tool doesn't really do a lot in this instance, just because there is a lot of air in there, because we're not packing it very tight, because the chicken's going to make its own juice. So that's pretty much what you want to keep in mind. When it makes its own juice, you kind of have to have room for that chicken juice. So that's why we don't pack it in very tight. Just going to finish filling up my jars here. This process goes very fast for the most part, as far as packing your jars with the chicken. Since we're obviously not cooking it before, this is what they call a raw pack. A hot pack would be considered whenever you cook it prior. You can do whichever one you want. This chicken in these pint jars is going to cook for 75 minutes in my pressure canner, and if you're doing quarts, it's going to be 90 minutes. So once the chicken cooks for that duration, the chicken is fully cooked. So if you need to, you can open it up right off the shelf and utilize it. Just kind of stomping it down a little bit and just adding a little, like one extra piece. Wash my hands here, and then I'm going to show you the rest. We are definitely going to use vinegar to clean these rims, because if there's any fat from the chicken, we want to make sure that that's cleaned off. Got my towel here with some vinegar, and we're just going to go right around the rims, just like this. Okay, and we're going to get our wide mouth lids. And we're just going to put these on here. I like to kind of line up where it says ball on the jar, and then center my lid. Obviously you don't have to do that, but it just kind of looks prettier when everything's lined up on your shelf. Okay, then you're going to take your rings and just finger tight, and that's it. So the only thing we have in here with the chicken is a half a teaspoon of salt. We are not adding any liquid to this, because when you raw pack, you don't put any liquid, because like I mentioned, the chicken is going to create its own liquid whenever it cooks. When you hot pack, whenever you cook the meat prior to putting it into the jars, then you need to add a broth. You either need to add a broth or water in order to coat it. But that you're just going to reference your recipe. I'm going to put these in the canner. And I can double stack these since they are pints. Alrighty guys, here we are. Our chicken has just come out of the pressure canner. I wanted to show you what it looks like. I'll move you in a little bit here. So it's still bubbling a little bit. Obviously we're going to let these cool for another about a 24 hours. And once again, like usual, we'll wash them, take the rings off, label and date them, and then put them in our storage. So you can see how much juice that the chicken has already created on its own. It's actually up to the bottom lip, and some of it has siphoned out, but don't be concerned if that happens to you. I was always told that as long as you have half liquid in there, then you're perfectly fine, because you are going to have siphoning here and there. And outside of that, I only had like 4 little pieces of chicken left over, which I'm going to make chicken and biscuits anyway, so I'll just put that right in with the chicken and biscuits. It'll be just fine. So thank you so much, guys, for coming along on this journey with me canning chicken and raw packing it in our pressure canner. It was really fun, and actually it was very easy. Once you clean the chicken, trim it, and cube it up, there's really not a lot to it. The longest part is obviously waiting for the pressure canner to get up to pressure, cook for the 75 minutes, and then once it's done, you have to wait for the pressure to go back down completely before you even open up the canner. So thank you so much, guys. Please like, share, subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.